Coming up on Tech News Today, Instagram changed things up a bit and people don't like change. Google boots payday loans from its ad network for good. Tesla has a beta feature of its commercially available vehicle that is responsible for a crash, and it should really rethink doing beta features in its commercially accessible vehicles. We go product hunting with Ryan Hoover, and any one of us could be a robot. Yes, even me. All that and more coming up next on Tech News Today.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by CashFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today, episode 1511, recorded Wednesday, May 11th, 2016.
This episode of Tech News Today is brought to you by Wealthfront. Wealthfront is a low-cost automated investment service and the most sophisticated way to invest your money. So whether you've got millions or you're just starting out, visit wealthfront.com/TNT and sign up to get your free personalized investment portfolio. That's wealthfront.com/TNT.
And by PillPack, a full-service online pharmacy that combines modern technology, convenient packaging, and personalized service to make your life easier. Visit PillPack.com/twit to save $20 on vitamins and OTCs when you transfer your prescriptions.
This is Tech News Today, the show where we talk about all the technology news, including the latest on feminist emoji and more.
It's true.
I am Megan Morrone.
I am Jason Howell. We're going to be talking all about, this show is nothing but that story, basically. the entire 45 minutes focused on feminist emojis and the progress therein.
Yes. Well, I debated doing this story because I got a tweet that we had lost a viewer because I was anti-male.
Oh.
And
this story has to do with men as well.
I know.
So.
Well, I went back and forth with this person and I might have changed his mind.
We'll see.
So,
we'll see if that person, let us know, person, whether you stuck around till the end of the episode. Okay. By the way, we are not doing the full 45 minutes on just that story, but we will get to it. But why don't we introduce our guest?
We should.
It's awesome to welcome back, finally, Ryan Hoover from Product Hunt. How's it going, Ryan?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It's going awesome. It's been a while since we had you on. I think we had you on possibly the first week of the year, kind of with the new format and everything. So,
Yep.
how
your test, wasn't I? I was sort of like a test.
Exactly. You took it easy on us, and we appreciate that. How are things going with Product Hunt?
Great. It's going great. We got we don't really have feminist emojis, as we were saying earlier before the recording, but we have these things, which are sort of like emojis. So we have a lot of pillows around the office, emojis, and other things like that. So it's very, very topical for us.
We have our own as well. Again,
nice.
they're not feminist emoji pillows, but
they're not anti-feminist either.
All right.
Very gender neutral.
My goodness, these things are coming from all over the place. I had no idea.
All right, we should get to the real tech news. What do you think?
I think it's probably time. Let's do it. Okay, so the future of high-speed transportation took one big step forward today as Hyperloop One, formerly known as Hyperloop Technologies, conducted its first public full-scale test of its linear induction propulsion system that sent a test vehicle careening down its track. The sled, as it has been nicknamed, accelerated at 2.4 Gs before reaching its top speed of, I saw mixed reports on this. One report said 115 miles per hour. I think another one said 200 or 300 miles per hour. Anyways, fast, but not nearly as fast as they're planning for. After hitting the end of the track, quickly met a sand pit at the end, and sand flew everywhere. It slowed it down to a stop, ending the short test. Pretty much you blink and it's over. But an interesting kind of step towards this whole weird, transportation future of the Hyperloop. Are you excited for whenever it is we might possibly see the Hyperloop, Ryan?
Absolutely. I'm very excited because I travel down to LA maybe once a month or so. And although it's a short trip, it's still a pain. You have to drive to the airport, which is 45 minutes. You have to go through security. You have to fly. At some point, it's a ways out, really. But at some point, we'll have hopefully something like the Hyperloop that can get from SF to LA in 30 minutes. That's what they're projecting right now. Unfortunately, we just have so far to go before we get to that point. But the dream is alive. I'm hopeful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that it goes back and forth. Are they going to just use it for cargo? Or are they going to use it for people? But this really sounds like it can be used for people. So I think it's great. I would love
absolutely the plan, yeah.
to drive an hour to the San Francisco Hyperloop station in order to fly to LA, to Hyperloop to LA in 30 minutes.
Why can't they just have a Hyperloop start in
They
Petaluma?
can't even get a train
Seriously.
to get to Petaluma.
Yeah.
Like,
That's true.
Northern California is just getting a smart train. So.
Good point. So in this case, though, this is the first test. It's not the fully realized idea of how they're going to do that. Today, motors or blades on the track actually are creating an electromagnetic energy that reacts to the sled and moves it down the track, but that track has metal rails. And the idea, at least going forward, is that the rails won't necessarily be attached to the sled in future iterations. It'll be using those magnets to really just kind of lift the sled off. And as a result, little to no resistance, propelling that thing as fast as it can from San Francisco to LA and back in 30 minutes, which is crazy to even consider that. There's also, trying to figure this out for between DC and New York. So could be very interesting. I actually spoke with a co-founder, Shervin Pishavar, at launch a few months ago about all this stuff. And like you were saying, Megan, their expectation is that they'll be shipping cargo by 2019. So this isn't too far out in the future in the grand scheme of things. And they'll be shipping people by 2021.
What's actually really interesting to me, too, is look at how the highways have changed really where people live and the ecosystems and communities and cities, and how the Hyperloop can enable new cities to thrive and grow in other areas.
Yeah.
So you could imagine a new city over time growing 30 minutes outside of San Francisco, where people are traveling and working in San Francisco, where, of course, rent right now today is very expensive, but living hundreds of miles away.
Yeah, and also just the idea of a kind of a world of employment where my day job could be in LA and it takes me just as long to Hyperloop to LA for my job in Hollywood from the Bay Area as it would for me to take the Judah from the middle of San Francisco to the financial district. It's just like such a weird kind of mind-blowing concept to think that could be the case sometime in the future. Yeah,
I have a friend who works for a headhunter, and she said Tesla is always hiring manual labor. They'll pay $17 an hour, and I was like, nobody can afford to live near any Tesla plant on $17 an hour. But, something like this would be very helpful for that. Mm-hmm.
I wonder what the kind of economics of building up those communities around these areas, what that's going to do there as well. Mm-hmm. Really cool stuff.
Well, today, Google announced that they will ban payday loan ads from predatory lenders who trap consumers into high-interest rate loans. The nefarious ads target low-income web searchers, and as of July 13th, 2016, Google will ban them and related products from their ad systems. I think this is awesome news. These kinds of ads stink. But is this a slippery slope for Google? I mean, where's the moral line? Should they block ads from other things that they find offensive? I don't. And we were talking about this, and I meant to do more research, but I don't even know. Do they do? I assume they don't really do too many cigarette ads or. Yeah, well,
I've looked into it a little bit. They already prohibit ads for things like guns, explosives, drugs, which we can understand why. They limit ads that are sexually explicit and graphic in nature. I didn't see anything as far as, let's say, like cigarettes or alcohol specifically, but I also haven't really, I can't say that I've noticed them, in my experience using Google services either. So I don't know. Do you think this is a slippery slope situation potentially, Ryan?
I don't think it's anything new, really. It's just another example of one of the challenges that Google and this actually relates much to Facebook a couple of days ago and some of the controversy around them filtering some of the editorial content in the trending feed. It's really difficult to be a major platform that millions and very soon billions of people use, because you're inevitably going to run into things like this. When it comes to drugs and other things like that, it may be legal in certain countries or certain states, and so whose laws do you abide by? There's no easy answer, I don't think, to any of these.
Yeah, this is the first time Google's instituted a global ban on a category of financial products, so that's definitely new. And this isn't the first time that Google's set out rules specifically targeted at payday loans either. They recently, or previous to this, had implemented rules for payday loan ads, specifically requiring the use of the term payday loan in the ad in the search query that it's targeted towards. So a user would actually have to search payday loan in order to actually see the payday loan ads. And then only showing those ads on sites that are actually related to payday loans as well. So Google has had this in their sites. This is just taking it one step further. And I suppose everyone out there can decide for themselves whether payday loans are a good or a bad thing.
Yeah. I mean, I've decided that they're a bad thing, but not Google.
Yeah, I mean,
these are companies that offer loans that come due within 60 days of issue date in the U.S. with an APR of 36% and up. The Center for Responsible Lending says the average APR on all payday loans is 391%. So,
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I think some people who I wouldn't necessarily say support payday loans, but some people who kind of are on the other side of the argument just kind of say it's the best of bad options, right? Like if somebody has a job, or, somebody has a job and their car breaks down, it's $200 to fix their car. They either don't get to the job because they don't have the money to fix their car and they lose their job, or they do this and they get the money to fix their car. But then what ends up happening? I mean, they're locked in for weeks, months, who knows how long. So it's kind of a crazy scenario. I don't know what the best option is there, but
it is also like when you're delivered these ads. I mean, it's sort of like, you're searching for certain things, like you're searching for, whatever it is that might make Google think that or whoever's bought these ad search terms to think that you need a payday loan. It's like it just adds on to the rich get richer and the poor get poorer kind of situation. It's a bad deal, and it's so connected in what we do. And a lot of people don't think like, oh, I'm typing these words into Google because I need something, and it's really just connected to the bigger picture they have of us. The ads
sending
we're getting,
signals,
exactly,
all that kind of stuff. Emoji or emojis? I don't know what you say.
Emoji.
Here. Emoji.
You're an emoji expert, Ryan.
Is it emoji or emojis?
I should know. I don't technically know.
I think emoji is the plural also, but I think it's acceptable to say emojis.
Okay, well, I'm probably
I've
going to
never been called out for using emojis plural, so maybe I will from now on.
Well, I'm a GIF flip-flopper, so even though I've been told time and again the right way to do it, I just flip-flop and use both of them equally.
There is no right way.
Okay. That's how I feel.
It's anyways. A moral stance to take, and we can't judge.
It's a moral internet-based stance. Emoji are getting more diverse as a group of Google employees have submitted a newly designed set of emoji that represent and highlight women in career roles to the Unicode Consortium. Among the submissions are at least 13 new emoji that show women in business, healthcare, science, education roles, and a few more there. The group is hoping the new set can be integrated by the end of 2016. The 13 professional categories will also include emoji for males in those same roles. So, both sides are covered, I suppose. And I guess in order to, this may seem so simple, like I didn't understand or realize how kind of complicated and researched getting a change like this actually is. You got to go through a lot of work and really kind of spell out your case and give really just kind of researched reasons as to why this may happen, and then it has to get approved. It's a whole process. So
someone worked very hard to get the middle finger emoji approved.
I wonder where that. Yes, exactly. What is the genesis of the middle finger emoji? And plenty more. Good move, I think. Obviously, this isn't the first time that this sort of thing has come up. I think it was last year that Unicode incorporated some changes based on a range of skin tone, and then also same-sex family emoji for kind of improving the diversity of the set. So, yeah, what do you guys think?
I think it's great. I think that when you talk about diversity, there's always the question of, I think we, especially in the tech industry, get in trouble a lot. When you think diversity, you think women. So, it's good that there is diversity in sexual orientation and color, as you said. There's, I was thinking, is there diversity in emoji in, other people with special needs? Like there's the wheelchair emoji, but that's just sort of the old one that, the wheelchair symbol that you see everywhere. So, it's just fascinating how powerful symbols are in our lives and things that we use every day. And it's interesting, too, because young women are the biggest users of emoji. And so when you look at them, there are like you can get your nails painted and you can be a bride and you can get, I think, I'll get your hair cut. Like those are what's offered to girls. Where boys, it's like you can go on a run or you can ride
be
a
an
bike
astronaut.
I think so. There is. I mean, symbols are important. It sounds petty to talk about them, but they are important.
Yeah, I would agree. And I haven't noticed this until more recently. I saw a campaign. I'm forgetting the name of the company, but they were talking about this and going through all of the emojis that existed right now and at the time. And all of the sports-related ones are guys. If you look closely, they're all guys that are, biking or surfing or whatnot. And I honestly just hadn't crossed my mind. But this is something that certainly some people noticed, and consciously or subconsciously. So I think it's great to see just more diversity. Also, frankly, from a user perspective, it's just nice to have more options and express yourself in different ways. So I don't think anyone can argue that this is a bad thing.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what emoji is all about. I mean, it's about representing an emotion, a feeling, a personality, all that kind of stuff. So having more options, obviously a great thing.
I like the rock star girl. That one's nice.
Yeah.
I want to use that one.
Well, are self-driving cars or self-parking cars ready for the road? I don't know. The answer, according to today's Tesla news, is a definitive yes, they are ready, and no, they are not ready.
That's not definitive.
No, not at all. A Utah man reported that his Tesla autonomously crashed into a trailer, and he says he had nothing to do with it. Now, many fender benders turn into a he said, she said sort of situation, but Tesla has all the data to prove that the Tesla owner activated the summon feature and also broke all the rules of using it, including the fact that you're only supposed to use it on your property. The Verge says that even if the driver was breaking the rules, Teslas probably should not bump into things in front of it. And maybe the company has been too quick to deploy its autonomous features before they're ready. What do you think, Ryan, about this autonomous crash?
Yeah, I haven't read up on this, so I don't know exactly what he did to make this happen. But in any case, if he made it happen, and there are very few people that have Teslas that are autonomous, then they certainly need to make sure this doesn't happen to more people. Yeah, it's a little bit nerve-wracking. I'm confident. I'm always an optimist when it comes to technology that at the end of the day, like these autonomous vehicles will drive much better than us at some point, but I'm not sure it's quite ready for the average consumer based on some of the things I've seen and heard.
Well,
sorry.
It's interesting because Google has obviously been waiting, to deploy any of these features where Tesla's like, we're just going to, give out this summon feature, but only use it on your property, and like people are actually going to do that.
Tesla has stated that the summon feature is, quote, in beta. They have said that basically they have said that this feature that makes a car drive on its own is a beta feature. And, oh, by the way, it's in commercially accessible vehicles. Should anything ever be in beta that's in a commercially accessible vehicle, especially when it means that the car drives by itself? I feel like that's a big oversight. And it feels to me like Tesla really kind of push something out. If they're saying explicitly that this is a beta feature, then I would probably say there are better ways to test out that beta and hash it out to a point where it's no longer a beta. Also, collision detection is a part of this system. How did that not happen here?
Yeah.
Regardless of if this was if this was initiated, based on the phone, him doing it inadvertently or whatever, like if there's autonomous vehicle functionality in it, and that's what this function does, and we saw the promotional video, which clearly shows the car knows when to stop because there's the wall in front of it, like collision detection should have happened. So that's also another fault. So I don't know. Yeah,
I don't think it should have happened. But it's interesting that Tesla is saying, well, you said this and you actually did this. Yeah, you turned it on because or that it's a beta,
Right.
Sorry, your car's in beta.
Right. But yeah, I think they're kind of blaming him a little bit for turning it on and for it not being, not being in a controlled environment, AKA his place. But I think that kind of overlooks the overarching fact that this isn't a feature that should be rolled out quite yet to everyone that owns a Tesla.
But I think liability-wise, that's what a lot of people are really worried about when it comes down to it. Like, whose liability this is. And I think it's his because, he signed a thing that said, I won't use this for all of these features. So, yeah.
Ready to get a ticket for Rumorland?
Yeah,
my
I love
new
Rumorland
theme park. where rumors are discussed and nothing is 100% confirmed. But it's still fun to talk about, especially when veteran tech journalist Peter Rojas tweets that next week's Google I/O Developers Conference will definitely, in his words, see the introduction of Android VR in a standalone headset form factor. You may remember a few months back, the Wall Street Journal cited its sources that pointed toward Google working hard to release a dedicated VR experience that's untethered to a phone or a computer, so it's totally standalone. That coupled with Rojas's tweet and yesterday's discovery of code from the most recent Unreal Engine preview that made mention inside the code of baked-in support for an Android VR plugin for, quote, day and date release, which sounds like it's timed with some upcoming announcement, seem to be painting a pretty convincing picture that Android VR is a thing that will exist very soon. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to, of course, be at Google I/O next week. And I think more and more as we get closer, we're starting to kind of get a clear sense of a big, part of what Google's focus is going to be. And it will be the kind of the move into VR and kind of a more defined role in VR that it started with Cardboard a couple of years ago. So anyone excited? Ryan, where do you stand on all this VR stuff? A lot of VR has happened since we last had you on. And does this sound exciting to you at all?
Yeah, so I was fortunate to go to F8 only a couple months ago, and we all got a Samsung Gear VR. And I'm not sure, have you tried it before?
Yes.
Samsung Gear VR?
Yeah.
It's very, it's on the low end side. It's not as high res as like the Vive and some of the Oculus, the later Oculus models, but it does make it more affordable and accessible to a broader audience. So I've been playing with that a little bit. My favorite experience so far has been the Vive that I've had a chance to play with, where you're in a room moving around with your hands, using tilt brush and painting. I'm super excited for the gaming side of it, but then longer term, how it applies to everything from e-commerce to traveling to social interactions and relationships is fascinating. And then just generally, I'm glad to hear that like Google is investing more and more in that space, which I think is pretty good bet to place.
Yeah.
Google needs to have a presence in VR. Being who they are, competing with Facebook and many others.
Yeah, and I mean, it's good that they're getting in now because it's supposed to be untethered from a computer or a phone. So, I mean, I can't imagine it's going to be anything like the Vive experience without that, So it will probably be lots cheaper. But I'm really interested. Do you think they'll give you one at Google I/O?
I think it's very much so a possibility.
And will you let me borrow it?
Because if you remember, well, of course. But you have to remember, as far as Google I/O, and when you look backwards, kind of in the history of Google I/O, year after year, the devices that they hand out to developers aren't necessarily just gifts. Like they are meant to kind of kickstart a certain effort of theirs, during the year when Wear was a big deal. They gave out multiple Wear devices, and they wanted developers to really kind of buckle down and focus on Wear development. They've done a lot. I think one year it was the Nexus 9 with the new version of Android M, and they wanted people to, developers to program against that. So I think if what the rumors are all pointing at, which is that this year a big focus is going to be VR, and if they do have a standalone device, it's very possible that would be what they're giving away. Whether they have them at the event to give out immediately, or whether it's what they did with the Moto 360, I think, which was like in a couple of months when it's ready, we'll send it to you. And yes, you can play with it.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, wear different shoes than you did when you did the HTC Vive, though.
That's my Vive experience, and I will not wear tall shoes. I felt the other thing is every picture you see of someone in VR, like we're bending our knees a little bit, like just sort of that was doing tilt brush, like it's just girding ourselves for I don't know what.
You were getting artistic.
I was yes, that's what it was.
There's still no way to look cool in VR is the reality.
Yeah, but you know what? But hopefully you don't care because you're inside this world and everything else doesn't matter.
Yep. Well, here's a quick update to a story we reported yesterday about a startup called Ripple that was going to differentiate itself from other news aggregators by including local news stories written by volunteers. Today, Recode reports that the app had begun cutting and pasting stories from other news sites and putting them on their site, on their app without permission. They were attributing the stories, just not asking for permission to use them and in full on their site as opposed to on the site.
Yeah, ouch.
The CEO of Ripple has apologized. Ryan, have you had any experience with Ripple? Have they shown up on Product Hunt?
I was actually just searching for it because I heard of the name, but I'm not sure if I've seen it on Product Hunt. I have not played with it myself, but yeah, it's not cool. Stealing content and putting it in your app is not cool.
Yeah, I mean, you are a site that curates and content for people. I guess what he said was that some sites had given him permission, and so it was just a tool problem where they were ingesting from all the sites, whether they talked to them or not. I'm just interested. It's like when you put products up on your site. Do you talk to all the people before, or do people submit it themselves? How does that work exactly? What's your relationship between the product makers?
Yeah, it's sometimes people find cool things and they post them themselves, and they have no affiliation with the company or don't even know who made it. And then oftentimes the makers, the people that make these things, post on Product Hunt. So we have two different kind of, flows or types of people. Generally, what we see is when something is posted, we try to find the makers and say, "Hey, your product's on the site. Join the comments, answer questions." And in almost all the cases, people gladly say, "Oh, sweet, awesome. Let me answer questions. Let me share it," and so on. So we see very positive effects by that. We've never had any issues with someone saying like, "Oh, you shouldn't be giving me more attention," because I'm really trying. That's like what makers are really trying to do. But in the case of like stealing actual content where you're not going to the site, our entire model is we take you to the website to download or purchase the product. Whereas it sounds like in this case, they're taking the content and putting it on their own site solely.
Yeah, when they have deals, when they have specific partnership deals, which I think was a big part of this, they have a certain, their system, at least the CEO, mentioned this after the fact, but their system is meant to pull that information from their partner sites. And of course, they've made deals with them. Unfortunately, it also pulled information from non-partner sites in full. And that was obviously not the right thing to do. I think what's supposed to happen there is they're supposed to get like a 75-word kind of, or the first 75 words or a summary or something along those lines in a thumbnail, and that would take you through. So, it sucks to get some exposure on your new service that you just launched, and then a day later have to come out with a mea culpa like this. And
well, it's good that they apologized.
Well, of course. Of course.
Well, after the break, Ryan will chat about his favorite things on Product Hunt right now. But first, let's take a minute to thank Wealthfront, the sponsor of this episode. You invest for the long term for you or for your family's financial health. But if you try to do it all by yourself, especially when you want to do it the right way, it's hard, it's complex, it's time-consuming. Luckily, there's Wealthfront. Traditional advisors charge huge fees. That's between 1% and 3% of what they manage. But with Wealthfront, you pay 0.25% a year. That's 25 basis points, 0 commissions, and no hidden fees. That's less than $5 a month to invest a $30,000 account. There are no additional charges for any of Wealthfront's services. You can get started investing today with as little as $500. Unlike other financial advisors, Wealthfront won't bog you down with dozens of questions. They've simplified their risk identification process, which allows you to begin investing sooner. It only takes just a few minutes to sign up at wealthfront.com. It goes right to work. It'll start monitoring your portfolios around the clock and take action as soon as the opportunity arises. Wealthfront portfolios are based on modern portfolio theory, and they're designed to adjust according to your personal risk tolerance while staying diversified and tax efficient. Wealthfront is transparent and accessible. You can view and track all your accounts in one place. And now Wealthfront can track both your Wealthfront and your non-Wealthfront bank and brokerage accounts that they provide in a summary of all your assets. You can see every trade that Wealthfront makes on your behalf in your dashboard, on your desktop, or with their mobile app. Wealthfront manages almost $3 billion in client assets, and it's growing rapidly every day. What are you waiting for? Invest in your future today with Wealthfront. Visit wealthfront.com/TNT to sign up and get your free personalized investment portfolio. You'll see the customized allocation they recommend for your profile. And just for Twit listeners, if you sign up to invest, Wealthfront will manage your first $15,000 entirely free of charge for life. Join the many Twit fans who have seen huge success with Wealthfront and claim your offer today at wealthfront.com/TNT. So the big news, Instagram released a rare redesign today, complete with an 80s-ish logo. Let's talk about the redesign of the app first. What do you think, Ryan?
So this morning I saw the update, and of course Twitter was flipping tables. Everyone is complaining because everyone hates redesigns. But if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's very colorful. It's very flat. For a while, people have been wondering when is Instagram going to update their brand and particularly their logo, because it's been very skeuomorphic for a long time. And so people even 2 years ago were waiting and waiting for this to change. In fact, we had Mike, the co-founder of Instagram, on Product Hunt about 7 months ago, and Zach in the community asked him a question. One of the questions was, when are you updating the logo? His response was an emoji with no mouth, which I thought was funny. And so personally, I honestly don't care so much about the branding. I'm not one to get upset about a change in a logo. I think it looks fine. It's not going to make me use the product more or less. I think the design of the app itself, it's changed a little bit. It's whiter, it's cleaner. The designer wrote a Medium post about the design process and thinking behind it. It actually really highlights the content even more. So rather than having more colors and more skeuomorphism, kind of interfere with the content itself, the videos, the images, it really makes the content pop a little bit more. I'm finding myself actually notice buttons that I didn't see before, even though that functionality existed. Like the very top, there's the you can
direct
submit
message. Oh, good.
Exactly. Yeah. The direct message stood out very cleanly in this new design. So that may influence behavior as well.
I agree with that. I knew about the direct message because I have a 13-year-old, and that is where that Instagram is usually the first social media that most kids get, and then an instant, because everybody sees it, the parents follow you and everything, and then they very quickly figured out instant message was the place where you could go in your room and shut the door so mom wasn't watching. But I had forgotten about it too, and I totally agree. I was like, oh yeah, there's that there, and I'm sure that's what they want, because if people start using it as an instant messaging platform, they're going to stay longer.
Mm-hmm. And they also needed to make their logos consistent, so they've been releasing 3 other apps now, which have totally different looking brands up until now, and now it feels more consistent and more connected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people just don't like change, do they?
I don't like change. It looked like 80s colors to me. I don't know, but yeah.
Oh, it looks silly. Like, was it iOS 7 when all of the kind of more kind of magenta-y, lime green, that whole color kind of palette was introduced into iOS. So feels maybe a couple of years too late for that whole trend. But I don't know. It doesn't bother me. The look at the logos isn't bugging me that much.
Well, it's interesting. I was like, why does this bug me so much? Because it's so personal. It's like it's your thing. It's your connection to your photos, your friends' photos, and so I think that's why it bothered me at first. But then I got over it.
Maybe it has a little bit less personality. You know what I mean? Like the Instagram logos. I mean, it's pretty iconic for obvious reasons, because that logo has been attached to Instagram through a lot of stuff. To where it's come now. So it's very, easy to just kind of associate that and have an attachment to it because of that history. And the new one looks a little bit more vanilla, I think, in that regard. But
it's taking me a while. I got a notification today from Instagram on my phone, and I looked at it as, what is this app messaging me?
Right.
And so it's kind of like when the new year changes, you start writing 2015 for the first month.
Yeah.
It'll take a little while to adjust.
Right. I feel like it wasn't, everyone got all, turned their tables at Uber's redesign of their
and then you got over
logo. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was because I just didn't use Uber as regularly, but I wonder if it's really because it's a less personal app. But yeah, everyone has gotten over it by now.
No one liked the name Nintendo Wii, and you got used to it. Maybe people still don't like the name Nintendo Wii, but you get used to it.
No one
Change
liked the
is hard,
iPad.
but you get used to it.
Everybody hated the name the iPad, and still got it.
Yep. All right. So Slack and the enterprise go hand in hand. So Slack's introduction of sign in with Slack makes a ton of sense. Where does this stand when compared to single sign-on services like Facebook Login? Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, so everyone saw this coming at some point. Slack is, extremely popular in the startup world at the very least for now, and growing wildly fast. And what's interesting is, compare it to a lot of the other social networks and platforms out there. Facebook is really about you and your friends and family. Twitter is about people like celebrities you follow and people of interest. LinkedIn is about people you met at a conference or maybe work with in the past. But Slack has a unique graph in that it's people you work with, essentially it's people who you work with today. And so what that opens up is opportunities for businesses like Quip. Quip is one of their launch partners, for them to enable you to easily connect with people you actually work with today. There's actually no platform that does that efficiently in the world other than Slack, well, for those that use Slack. And so this is just one more step towards Slack being a really impactful platform and opening up this whole new graph for third parties to build on top of.
And I mean, Slack is no stranger to working with third parties. They have their whole kind of integrations platform as part of the service, which is one big reason why people love working with Slack and all that kind of stuff. Does this alter the experience that Slack users have with those integrations in any way, or is it just purely sign in?
Yeah, as far as I know, what it provides is, some of the information is on the screen right now. When you authenticate, it'll give you, kind of like Facebook does, you can get the email address of that user, you can get the connections that this person has similar to the friends that someone has, and you can build that graph that way. I haven't dug into the full documentation to see if there's anything really, really sophisticated or interesting beyond that, but this is just a starting point. From here, a lot more can be done. But Slack just as a platform too. It's actually one of the most popular topics on Product Hunt. People are building many different Slack integrations and bots, and we're seeing more and more companies using it as a distribution channel and a way to reach users. So they're on a really good pace, and probably one of the most interesting platforms right now in the space.
I'd be curious to know bot kind of development statistics for Slack's. For Slack versus something like Facebook Messenger, because Messenger, I mean, obviously only recently rolled it out, and they're kind of the more well-known, that's part of Facebook. So of course, there are plenty more users on Messenger than Slack, but Slack's been doing the bot thing for a while. I'd be curious to know if it has more movement in that regard.
Well, and what we've thought a lot about both platforms right now, and we don't have a Slack bot or a Facebook integration right now. However, we're thinking a lot about that. And, the reality is we could use the same code essentially in both platforms. However, the use cases are entirely different. In Slack, you're with you and your team. Facebook, it's more of a personal one-on-one messaging or you and a couple friends. So I think even though they are moving in similar directions, having people build bots on top of them, the use cases are just entirely different.
Sure.
Yeah, because I feel like if I'm going to try something out, like a Facebook bot or something, it's, what's the worst that can happen? It's only my stuff, But like when I'm trying out a Slack bot, I get a little worried. Like I feel like because it's like, this is our office stuff. Like I don't, I want to make sure it's completely secure and trusted and everything because I'm, you'd be introducing it to, your whole office. Everything in there.
You wouldn't want a service like Jiffy to throw some random unintended animated GIF into your office chat room like it does every single time you use it.
Right. Jason and I have offended each other equally with the GIFs that have accidentally
offended in air quotes.
Yes.
It's kind of fun to watch what it comes up with because it's never accurate. But that's why it's awesome.
That's what makes it fun.
I know. That's why it's awesome.
Rating.
Right.
Yes.
Well, if you want to be more specific in your GIFs or your GIFs, you might try GIF.com or GIF.com. So that's another thing that you've been using. Tell us about that, Ryan.
Yeah, I just had to pull this out. It's a really cool service. So somehow this small startup got the domain GIFs.com. I don't know how much it cost them or what they did to get it, but impressive. And they launched this new service where you can take a YouTube video or Vimeo video, paste the URL, and then you can turn any snippet into a GIF, into like a 5-second GIF. You can layer on text and you can add some filters and you can turn anything into like kind of a meme. And they have, you can see here on the screen, different effects. Like they have even stickers that you can place on it, blurring effects, inversion. It's just a fun tool. It's surprisingly well done. Like GIFs are pretty heavy and not the most performant pieces of code. And in the browser, it actually works surprisingly well. So it's just really cool. You could spend an hour or two here just making GIFs and sharing with your friends.
I think that we're looking at Kara's parrot right now, which... Oh, it's not yours. That's awesome.
Video. Yeah, that's pretty cool because these are not necessarily the easiest things to make with normal tools anyway. So just being able to do this inside a browser, quick and easy. This is the future, man.
Yeah, and it's actually it's fun, but it's also for people who are doing like, let's say, social media. Like they're part of a company, a startup, and doing things on social media. You can use this to easily create GIFs that are shareable on Twitter or Facebook with some text overlaid. So you could be talking about the Tesla, let's say, and you can put some sort of text overlaid, share that very easily in about 30 seconds.
Nice. And finally, tell us about Channels, which seems like a kind of a video, I don't know if it's a video sharing service, it's a video distribution service of some sort. What's it doing differently when it comes to viewing videos on the phone?
Yeah, so this was earlier this week or maybe late last week it launched. Morrone, the founder, was on Product Hunt answering questions, and they were trying to launch it quietly. They submitted to the App Store, and then Apple featured it without them expecting it. And so it started getting some attention. The app is kind of like Snapchat meets YouTube in that it's vertical videos, all 10 seconds or less. And they're videos on every kind of topic, like could be funny topic, could be VR, could be celebrity news, anything. And it's just really well done, really well polished, and it's kind of addictive, kind of like Snapchat. You sit there and before a video's out, like while you're watching a video, the next one starts, and it's hard to put down. They just done really well in the execution and in the performance of the app itself.
Yeah, I downloaded it, and I got definitely sucked in immediately. Saw some really interesting things. I saw the future of me wasting many hours.
Your future of wasted time. So is this content that users are creating specifically for channel, or is this content from other places? Because I feel like I saw somewhere in the Product Hunt post that the creator was talking about how, all this video online is created for landscapes, created for the TV, and his vision was to kind of take that kind of content and bring it into a form that's good for the phone. So bite-sized pieces, vertical, like you said. So is it repurposing other video, or is it video created just for the service?
From what I've gathered, it's actually both. So they've repurposed some content. You'll see that some of it is videos that's actually just cropped, and it actually works surprisingly well, even though it was made for landscape. Some of them are even just Snapchat videos. And then I've uploaded some. So users can submit some. You can create your own channel even. So on anything, you can create a channel. You can submit your own videos that people can follow. It's one of the few platforms that has permanent vertical videos that I've seen.
So if I submit my own, the record button's right there. Like, how would people find that? Is it attached to my username?
Yeah, you would find it either through people following you. So if people follow you, they might find it. If they follow a channel you create, or if you're featured, essentially. I don't know how they're doing it exactly right now, but I think they editorially choose certain videos to be featured in their popular feed.
It is pretty funny that the App Store inadvertently did their launch for them before they were ready, because I think they were, like you said, they were trying to do it a little on the sly and get through the beta, the alpha version, and now it's a public beta. So there you go. That's what happens when you get the Apple bump.
Have you heard of the app Hyper from, I think Mike bought them. That I really like that. It's not for the phone, but it's for the iPad and the Apple TV. And that's just curated. And I love that. Like it's like 5 videos a day. We watch it on the Apple TV at home, and it's nice because it's like, rather than slogging through YouTube with my kids and, just coming upon whatever boring stuff or offensive stuff, like it's just like 5 videos that I love to watch. So this sounds a little similar, but newer and for the phone.
Yeah, and this is for those with like zero attention span.
Yes.
Because you can't really get bored. The video's over before you can get bored.
Right.
Exactly.
You can find all this stuff. Obviously, I love Product Hunt. It's a great place to kind of discover new upcoming things. So producthunt.com, that's kind of what Ryan does for a living. So definitely go check it out. Really cool stuff. Thanks for chatting about that stuff with us.
Absolutely.
Well, we got an email in regards to Becky's request for tips on saving money on your cell phone. Paul Smith writes, use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without.
Put that on a T-shirt.
And that's hence why I still use a 2011 iPhone 4S running iOS 9.31.
All right. Okay. So, prescribe to the club of if you get a phone, use it until it can no longer be used. That can be a little bit of a challenge, only in the sense that some devices, it only takes a couple of years and they start slowing down like crazy, and it becomes a challenge to want to use it anymore. At least that's my opinion, but maybe I'm spoiled. I don't know. But if you got something, make it work. Like that. Coming up, what would you do if you discovered that your teacher's assistant was a robot? But first, let's take a minute to thank PillPack, the sponsor of this episode. PillPack's a full-service online pharmacy that combines modern technology, convenient packaging, and personalized service to make your life easier. Simplify your life. Visit pillpack.com/twit. You'll save $20 on vitamins and OTCs when you transfer your prescriptions. And there's just so many cool things about PillPack, because it basically simplifies and eliminates the need for you to have to go into the pharmacy. With PillPack, you'll never have to wait around. for your prescriptions to be filled. You'll sort your own pills, chase down your doctors, or for those refills again. Their pharmacists actually take care of everything for you. PillPack uses advanced technology that will sort all of your medications and vitamins by the date and time for each dose. You can also order inhalers, creams, and diabetes supplies, which come in refrigerated, easy-to-open packages. Shipping is always free. Their pharmacists are available 24/7, so you can speak with them from the privacy of your own home. Or if you're on the go, you can do it there too. You don't have to go into their place. It's like they come into your life when you want them there. PillPack has truly designed their pharmacy to make your life easier and have very quickly disrupted the pharmacy industry. What's great is that PillPack is compatible with most major insurance plans, including most forms of Medicare Part D, and their service is free. That means you only pay the copays set by your insurance provider. So here's what you should do. Visit pillpack.com/twit. You can sign up right now, take a look at things. It only takes 5 minutes to get started. And when you use our link and transfer your prescriptions to PillPack, you're going to get a $20 credit for vitamins and OTCs. That's pillpack.com/TWIT. And we thank PillPack for their support. All right, TNT's fan of the day is Ray Thompson, who emailed us at tnt@twit.tv to say, how do I watch and listen to TNT? Well, on the road between Austin and Novato in my Audi Q7 using CarPlay. And there it is. We've even got a map and everything. But you can see up at the top corner there, it says TNT 1504. So we know that he's telling the truth. Show us how you watch or listen to TNT. Just record a video or take a picture of yourself or your setup. Post it to Instagram, Google+, Twitter, Facebook, or heck, you can email it. Use the hashtag HowIWatchTNT in the social places, though, and we will find it.
And finally, the Wall Street Journal reports that students at the Georgia Institute of Technology were about to nominate their teaching assistant for their knowledge-based artificial intelligence class as the outstanding TA of the year. Then the professor of the class admitted that the TA, Jill Watson, was a bot. Ms. Watson is powered by IBM's analytics system and was able to answer questions, remind them of due dates, and post questions in the middle of the week to spark conversations. She was also apparently able to fool the students that she communicated with into thinking that she was real. So this is
interesting.
Getting closer to Ex Machina. What do you think about this, Ryan? Have you been fooled by a bot yet?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the challenge, right?
I'm not sure. I actually just rewatched Ex Machina recently with my parents, and that movie is frightening. But that's super cool. It's really, really clever of the teacher to go that route.
Well, they said that next time they're going to do it again and tell the students that one of their TAs is a bot, but not tell them which one.
That's smart. And at least they know. But then they're going to be throwing inquiries at it. Now that they know that there's a bot in there, they're going to be trying to break it. Because come on, they're students. They're gonna try and be smarter than the bot here. But I think that's awesome. That actually makes a whole lot of sense. I'm sure there are a lot of things that TAs do, like menial things like telling them when their next assignment is due and whatever. That might as well offload that to a bot worker, I suppose.
So you must have tons of bots on Product Hunt. Is there any bot that you've really said, "Wow, this is fantastic"?
Ooh, good question. I feel like it's still really early. There's few that have kind of blown me away in terms of surprised me. A lot of them, frankly, I'm generally an optimist, and I know we'll get there. But a lot of them are kind of disappointing in that their interface is actually just not that efficient to say yes when I could click a button instead, and they're not. It's not quite Ex Machina level yet. So none really stand out to me right now yet.
Jiffy or Giphy is the beginning of Ex Machina or Machina. Machina.
So did you watch it? Did you watch it with your parents? Because were they worried that when you were starting Product Hunt, you were the guy in the bunker, like starting some crazy AI project?
No, not at all. I actually watched it a couple weeks ago. I watched it when it first came out, watched it a couple weeks ago because I'm like, Mom, Dad, you got to see this movie. It's crazy. It's insane. It's the future in some ways. Like inevitably, we're going to have people making robots and doing things with them, which I won't mention on the show. That's what makes it so interesting. I'm also right now reading or technically listening via Audible to Ready Player One, which is fascinating. Separate topic, but somewhat related in that it's the future. It's virtual reality and technology is going to change a lot of the way we live, really.
That's true.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Ryan, for coming on and talking tech with us. Your website is such a great resource for me, and I'm sure for a lot of people who watch this show. Is there anything else that you need to tell us about Product Hunt or anything you're working on that we don't already know?
So speaking of bots, we're working on something related to bots right now. We're not launching it yet, but very soon. So later this month or early next month, you'll see something. But otherwise, yeah, just check out producthunt.com. Hopefully it's fun. There are a bunch of topics there that you can explore: virtual reality, bots, etc. So check it out.
It's easy to get lost on Product Hunt, just lost in sheer options. In other words, like you find something really cool and then you wonder, well, there's probably a whole lot of other cool things here and everything. So it's a lot of fun. Thanks for the resource and for doing the work that you do.
Of course. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
All right. Take care. Later.
See you later. Tomorrow's guest will be Owen JJ Stone, a.k.a. Oh Doctor. TNT records live every Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, 12 a.m. UTC at twit.tv/live. You can be a part of the show by emailing us at tnt@twit.tv. You can also leave us a short voicemail at 260-TNT-SHOW. And you can hit us up on Twitter. But don't hit us. Just hit us up at Tech News Today TV.
Subscribe to the show at twit.tv/TNT or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe there. And if you want to find me on Twitter, I'm at Megan Morrone.
And I'm at Jason Howell. Thanks for a technical... I just forgot how to talk. Thanks to our technical director, Kara Cole, and all the folks who help us produce this show every single day. And thanks to you for talking tech with us today. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to work on that. What happened there? What was that?